Alright, Shalom. We start off by giving all praises, honors, and glories unto Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that told me this truth that rule well. Shalom to the elect scattered through the four corners of the earth. My name is Kodash Paya. And I got a few clips of this week's events, current events, news that's been going around. Right? Where how Trump is basically, putting out the National Guards over there in Washington, D.C. And you're seeing Humvees, due to crime rates, right? To slow down crime, which it's becoming more of a police state. Now he's saying the police could do whatever they want as well. Then you got, on top of that, ICE, cracking down on the northern tribes, which is more of the Latin tribes that they targeting more and more, But he's invoking the Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act, placing Washington, D.C. Police Department under federal control. He also announced he will deploy the National Guard as well. Also, I believe Chicago and New York, showing that he's becoming more of a dictator, man. And this is what's going to bring martial law. And when there's troops involved like this, expect for something big to occur. Whether it's a false, flag, whether they consider people as a threat in some, form of fashion, which he's doing now. That's the same spirit as Nero when he was blaming the Jews, which you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which are the biblical Israelites, with a major event. And that's something called problem, reaction, solution. I want to play this real quick.
Communist gets elected to run New York. It can never be the same, but we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to. We could run D.C. I mean, we're looking at D.C. We don't want crime in D.C. We want the city to run well. Susie Wiles is working very closely with the mayor, and they're doing all right. I mean, in the sense that we would run it so good, it would be run so proper, we'd get the best person to run it. The crime would be down to a minimal, would be much less. And, we're thinking about doing it, to be honest with you. We want a capital that's run flawlessly, and it wouldn't be hard for us to do it. And we've had a good relationship with the mayor, and we're testing it to see if it works. But New York City will run properly. We're going to bring New York back. You have a lot of crooked things going on in New York. We're going to straighten out New York. Maybe we're going to have to straighten it out from Washington.
So he said he's testing it out before to see if it works. Trial runs, but it's happening. It's prophetic. The scriptures speak about the uproars of the people, and say if there is like an economic collapse, then you will have troops guarding stores, to bring in a new currency. Let's see how this plays out. But this is why the Lord said, watch and pray. You see? And we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. The Lord didn't give us the spirit of fear. We knew this was coming. Esau's working, Satan coming down with great wrath. Right? Changing new bills, changing up new laws. More restrictions equals more power, so to speak. Right? So with that, let's get a preset. I got some scriptures. Let's get the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 16. You know what? Because this is all part of Jacob's troubles, pursuant to Jeremiah 30, around the 7th verse. Troubled times is coming, man. Lamentations, mournings, and woes. Doors of repentance is closing. You know? This whole chapter is good. Right? But let's get to the point. Let's go straight to the point real quick. 2 Esdras 15 and 14, it says, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. The sword is the modern day weapons, guns, you know, whatever you could use to harm people or to kill them, or, you know what I mean? And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So you have also paid off protest. You know what I mean? Just to make something look bad in the area so they could bring in certain or armed police state or whatever. Just like when they plotted out, you know what I mean, September 11th. And what they brought? Something called the Patriot Act. You know, that's when he started bringing out more surveillance. You know, after the year 2001, 1999, it wasn't much surveillance like that. But that's how they amplified their technology to track people down. See, now things are going to get more physical. You know? And even them locking down travel, like, you know, travel bans. You know, you're going to have military scattered through these different places, airports, subway stations, banks, supermarkets. You know what I'm saying? Restrictions is coming, man. Right? As a matter of fact, let's get the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. It says, Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Right? Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, right? The devil meaning the deceiver. Who's the deceiver? Right? Trump, politicians, and those that's putting the strings behind them, the feds, the royal family. You know, they deceive the whole world, as the scriptures speak about, through their treaties, through their policies, through their bills, you know, sanctions. They speak sweet things, but in the back of their mind, swords is drawn. And that's what's coming. That's why the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy, man. Right? So if you don't know who your enemy is, how you know his tactics? But it says, For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Alright? And part of his great wrath is this military might. You know? Fear tactics. But the elect, it's not gonna fear these things. Because we knew it was coming. We're not gonna get caught like a thief in the night. So it says here in the book of Isaiah 59, verse 19, it says, So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy, there that goes again, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, you even have something called flood troops or something like that. The Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him to protect his elect, because you're going to have divine intervention. You see? Just like when the elect, the apostles, our forefathers was locked up, sent to prison. You know, some of us may be put to death for speaking truth, considered as a terrorist, whatever. You know, even that's shutting the mouths, you know what I mean, the famine of the word from going out. You know, but when the Lord lifts up the standard, matter of fact, let's get that word real quick. In the blue letter. right? In the blue letter, Isaiah 59 and 19, the Lord's going to lift up a standard for a remnant, for his elect, because some will not taste of death. Okay?
Strong's H 5127. Noose. Noose.
To flee, escape, to take flight and depart, disappear. Because, hey, the Lord's going to give his men spiritual powers as well, man, to combat these things. We just got to trust in him. Wait upon the Lord, and he shall fight for thee. Okay? You got to believe that. Have faith. All right? As our forefathers did. To put to flight, to drive hastily, to cause, to disappear, hide. The Lord is going to hide his men from evil, man. You know, from getting caught by the enemy. You know? To those that have faith and truly believe. You know? In his true name and in the true doctrine. Right? Because the point for them is to do this. To, you know, in Isaiah 10 and 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And this is showing that the Constitution don't mean nothing. And more restrictions is going to be more people losing jobs, people can't travel, people can't. So I feel that, and they trying to implement certain things in 2026. You know, digitally, if you know what I mean. So, hey man, salvation is nigh. We at the door of this thing. You know, things are speeding up. The Lord said that. He will speed up the times for the elect's sake. That's why I read Revelation 12 and 12. The devil's going to come down having great wrath, knowing but that he had but a short time. Because the Lord's lifting up a bound, setting a bound so where he cannot pass, as it tells you in the book of Job. You see? So they putting the squeeze on Jake right now to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the rights from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. So there you go, man. This is why we warn the people, blow the trumpet. You know, because here, Trump is saying they could do whatever they want, whatever. But right now it's a test. And I don't think it's going to be a long test, because all it takes is for one, you know, major act to happen. For things to switch up. Hey, you know, we only got a month or two left of summer. You know, winter's coming. It's about to get cold out here. So watch and pray, seek ye the Lord while he may be found, call upon him while he's near. Isaiah 55 and 6. So with that, man, keep a watch out, keep praying. You know, that the Lord keep you in the spirit, that you may be able to stand in these times. You know, like it tells you in Luke. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Just to close out, Luke 21 and verse 34, I believe it's in 36, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's in 36, hold on. All right, it says, St. Luke chapter 21 verse 36, it says, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Alright? So you want to be able to escape, like we just read in Isaiah 59 and 19, to escape, to flee. So with that, I'm going to say, Shalom.